an alien spacecraft first crashed on Earth. And to prevent public panic, the United States covered up the truth about the spaceship and the aliens. Even the president was completely unaware. The Department of Defense established Area 51 to conduct research, hoping to develop advanced technologies from the alien specimens. But 40 years later, on the most hidden dark side of the moon, a massive alien spacecraft was rapidly approaching Earth. Soon, Earth's alien radar monitoring system received signals from the aliens, and the scientists responsible for monitoring were in a frenzy. While the generals at the Department of Defense also received word of the aliens' arrival. The radar showed a huge UFO in the sky above Earth, with a diameter of 550 kilometers, a volume that reached a quarter of the moon, and the massive spacecraft even released dozens of smaller crafts, beginning to spread to various parts of the world, each with a diameter of tens of kilometers. This rare behavior left the Defense Department leaders in deep contemplation. Uncertain of what it meant, they immediately picked up the phone and called the president, informing him of this serious situation. Upon hearing this, the president immediately joined forces with the Secretary of Defense to order the launch of satellites into space to take a look at the alien mothership hovering over Earth and to attempt to establish contact with them. Understanding why it had come was just beginning to approach when contact with Earth was lost. And in the next moment, an explosion occurred. This left the Department of Defense completely in the dark about what had happened. Meanwhile, the arrival of small UFOs on Earth brought communication to the brink of collapse, reverting to levels not seen in decades. In a matter of seconds, faced with this unprecedented danger, the president immediately convened all senior officials for a meeting to discuss how to respond to the alien visitation. The Secretary of Defense proposed using interstellar missiles to destroy them, as a small UFO had already arrived in Washington, passed through the Lincoln Memorial, and hovered over the White House. But after careful consideration, the president did not adopt his suggestion, because to launch an attack without warning could result in harm to many innocent civilians, and yet, it could not be allowed to hang as a threat over their heads, since it was unknown whether it was friend or foe. So they divided into two teams, one led by David, to study the connections between alien spacecraft scattered around the world and the timing of their signal communications. The other team was sent by the Air Force, with 3 helicopters, heading to communicate with the spacecraft over the White House. Upon arrival, the helicopters turned on their lights to signal friendship, and the alien spacecraft responded by shining its lights. The crowd initially thought it was taking effect, but in the next moment, a sudden burst of artillery fire pulled them back to reality, as all the planes coming for the exchange were shot down. At the same time, David's research reached a conclusion. The various spaceships were interconnected, and the signals between them were actually a countdown to the destruction of Earth. Upon learning this, the president immediately abandoned the exchange and turned to board a helicopter, preparing to leave the vicinity of the spaceship to make other plans. Meanwhile, the news also reported this situation, and everyone started driving cars to leave Washington. But there was a group of people who were bizarrely ecstatic, holding up banners, hoping to be taken away by the aliens. They paid no attention to the warnings from the military helicopters, and a tragic end was surely awaiting them. As the alien spaceship slowly opened up, its beautiful exterior drew the attention of countless onlookers, and the maxim that the more beautiful something is, the more dangerous it is, was proven true at this moment. The next second, a towering light pillar shot down, and its tremendous power directly destroyed a 100-meter-high building, with the spreading energy causing endless danger to the surrounding area. Even the after effects reduced several buildings to powder. The cars on the street were even flipped over. Then spacecraft from all over the world launched attacks. The White House, where the president was just moments ago, was completely destroyed. The explosive heat waves sweep across the city, with the White House as the epicenter. Almost everything around it was flattened. The president's plane narrowly escaped being engulfed in the inferno. Even the Statue of Liberty lay in the river, silently weeping. Several hours later, the president survived a brush with death. They made their way to an Air Force base, with a clear target in mind. They planned to take military action, prepared to deploy all fighter jets, and in front of them were the best in the Air Force. With a mindset of desperate struggle, they fought for humanity and decided to show the aliens their strength. Fueled by anger, they launched the first round of attacks, but unexpectedly, all the shells were blocked outside. The radar showed that they had a protective shield-like defense. In disbelief, all the planes began to change formations and prepare for a second round of attacks with Sidewinder missiles, which were known for their fast speed and accuracy. However, it was incredible that even with the new missiles, they were still blocked outside. This made everyone realize that there must be a protective shield attached to the surface. As the planes were about to collide with the alien spacecraft, all the pilots pulled up to avoid it. However, one soldier was slow to react and unfortunately crashed into the protective shield. Then, the alien spacecraft sent out many fighter planes, causing heavy casualties among the pilots. Planes were lost one after another, and even the fighter planes had protective shields, making the soldiers' cannon fire ineffective. They could only dodge and escape, but this was not a solution. 2 more planes were shot down. Watching plane after plane being destroyed, the president realized something was wrong and immediately ordered all planes to withdraw and preserve their strength. But faced with the relentless pursuit of the alien spacecraft, the 2 men couldn't retreat directly and had to maneuver their planes to try to shake off the spacecraft. However, at this moment, one of their teammates' planes malfunctioned, causing the visor to be unable to breathe. Without the visor, he could not pilot the plane normally and eventually died under the aliens' attack. The last remaining warrior thought of a plan. He lured the alien spacecraft into a cliffside crevice to avoid fire attacks. Before the fuel ran out, he made a desperate move, opening the parachute on the plane to block the alien spacecraft's view and then using the ejection system to fly out, causing the plane and the spacecraft to collide with the cliff. A moment later, the soldier landed and staggered to find the alien spacecraft. He opened the door and saw the aliens inside. What will happen next? Let's look forward to the next episode.